The bell above the door jingled softly as another customer left Mel's diner, their boots squeaking across the checkerboard floor. It was nearing closing time, the fluorescent lights flickering slightly as if they, too, were tired. The scent of fried chicken and burnt coffee lingered in the air like a familiar blanket. Behind the counter, Linda wiped down the tables for what felt like the 50th time that night. Her feet ached, her lower back throbbed, and her eyelids fluttered with exhaustion, but she kept going. She had to. Her daughter, Emily, was waiting at home, probably curled up on the couch with her worn-out purple blanket, trying to ignore the hunger pangs. Linda glanced at the clock. 9:12 p.m., just a little longer, she muttered under her breath. The loud rumble of engines shook the windows before she even saw them. Heads turned, conversations paused, a pack of motorcycles pulled up outside, chrome glinting beneath the streetlights. Most customers stiffened, their expressions shifting to unease. The reputation of bikers, loud, reckless, intimidating, preceded them. The doors swung open with a clang as 5 men stomped in, helmets tucked under their arms. Leather jackets adorned with skull patches and club emblems left no doubt they were part of a motorcycle club. The biggest of them, a mountain of a man with a thick gray streaked beard, scanned the room with stern eyes. Some folks looked away, others pretended not to notice. But Linda, she forced a smile and grabbed menus. "Evening, boys," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. "You can take that booth in the back." The bearded man raised an eyebrow, seemingly surprised by her calm demeanor. Most people either hovered around them nervously or avoided eye contact altogether. But Linda treated them like she treated everyone else, with tired kindness. They settled into the booth, voices deep and rough as they joked among themselves. Linda took their orders, pen scratching across her notepad. Double cheeseburgers, loaded fries, ribs, milkshakes, enough food to feed an army. As she walked away, she caught snippets of other customers whispering, "Hope they don't cause trouble. Why do they let people like that in here?" Linda rolled her eyes. People were always quick to judge. She'd learned better than that. Hard lives came in all uniforms, suits, aprons, or leather vests. She brought the food, juggling steaming plates across her arms. The bikers lit up like kids at Christmas. One of them joked, "If I die tonight, bury me with this burger." Another smacked the counter and laughed like thunder. Despite their rough appearance, they were polite. They said, "Thank you," when she refilled drinks. They didn't make a mess. They even complimented the cook loud enough for him to hear in the kitchen. When they were done, the plates were still half full, mountains of untouched fries and ribs. Linda approached with a tray to clear them, dread pooling in her stomach. She hesitated, swallowing. Her pride screamed not to say it, but her daughter's hollow eyes flashed in her mind. With a shaky breath, she whispered, "Would it be all right if I took the leftovers? For my daughter. She hasn't had much to eat lately." The diner fell silent, every conversation, every clatter of silverware, gone. All eyes shifted to the bikers. Even Linda's heart stopped. The silence that followed felt like it lasted an eternity. Linda's cheeks flushed crimson as she instantly regretted her words. She wasn't the type to beg, not for tips, not for favors, and certainly not for pity. But hunger had a way of choking one's pride until desperation slipped through the cracks. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, forcing a laugh that trembled. "Forget I said anything, all just." Before she could turn away, a large hand landed gently, but firmly, on the tray she was holding. She froze. The bearded biker stood up slowly, straightening to his full height. He seemed even bigger now, towering over her like a wall of leather and steel. His eyes, sharp and stormy a moment ago, had softened in a way she didn't expect. "Put that tray down," he said quietly. His voice was deep, not loud, not angry, but commanding in a way that made everyone listen. Linda blinked. Sir, it's okay. I didn't mean to," he repeated, more firmly this time. "Put it down." She set the tray back on the table, hands trembling slightly. The biker stepped past her, heading toward the counter with slow, deliberate strides. Every step echoed across the diner like a drumbeat. Even the cook in the kitchen peeked through the window, spatula in hand, eyebrows raised. The man reached the register, slammed down his worn leather wallet, and pulled out a thick wad of cash. Without counting, he slapped several $100 bills onto the counter. "Everything you got," he told the cook. "Burgers, pies, chicken, whatever's hot, box it all up." The cook gaped. All of it. All of it. The biker repeated. Whispers erupted across the diner. What's he doing? Is he buying more food? But the biker wasn't finished. He turned toward Linda and spoke loud enough for everyone to hear. No daughter of yours is eating leftovers. She's eating fresh. Her lips parted in disbelief. Her chest tightened. Not from embarrassment this time, but from something unfamiliar. Gratitude. Relief. She wasn't sure. The other bikers exchanged glances. Without a word, they rose from their seats and joined their leader at the counter. One by one, they began adding their own cash to the pile. A lanky biker with flame tattoos grinned and slapped down a stack of 20s. Throw in chocolate milkshakes, extra whipped cream. Another, younger with wide shoulders and nervous eyes, mumbled, kids like cookies, right? And tossed in more money. Soon the counter looked like a fundraiser. Linda stood frozen, tears stinging her eyes. She tried to protest. You don't have to. We know, the bearded man replied simply. But we want to. The cook and busboy scrambled to assemble the biggest takeout order the diner had probably ever seen. Paper bags were filled. Box after box slid across the counter. The smell of hot fries and warm pie filled the room. Linda placed a hand over her trembling mouth, overwhelmed. She had come expecting to scrape leftovers off plates, and instead, an army of leather-clad strangers had turned into her greatest allies. And for the first time in weeks, she felt seen. Linda held the growing stack of takeout bags like fragile treasure, her eyes wide in disbelief. She tried to steady her breath, but emotion welled in her chest like a rising tide. One more kind word, she thought, and I'll fall apart completely. The bearded biker, who seemed to be both the leader and the quiet heart of the group, watched her carefully. He reached into his vest pocket, pulled out a folded bill, and tucked it gently into her apron without giving her a chance to refuse. She instinctively reached for it. No, I can't take. You can, he said firmly. And you will. She hesitated, then slowly unfolded the bill with trembling fingers. It was $100 note. Her breath hitched. She opened her mouth to speak, but only a choked whisper came out. Why are you doing this? The biker shrugged, scratching his beard. His voice softened, low and gravelly. Because once, a long time ago, someone did it for me. The diner, once full of judgmental stares, now sat in absolute silence, not from fear anymore, but reverence. At table 2, the two elderly ladies who had been gossiping earlier lowered their eyes shamefully. The couple by the window who had whispered about troublemakers looked away, unable to meet Linda's gaze. Meanwhile, the bikers acted like this was nothing out of the ordinary. One of them snatched a napkin and scribbled something on it, then slid it across the counter toward her. She blinked at the messy scrawl. If you ever need anything, call us. Family takes care of family. Tears finally spilled over. She hugged the napkin to her chest like a lifeline. The bearded biker gave her a small nod, then turned toward the door. His boots thudded steadily against the floorboards as he walked. The others followed closely behind, their leather creaking, their presence once intimidating now radiant with quiet honor. Just as he reached the exit, he paused and looked back, not at Linda, but at everyone else. His voice boomed through the room like a final decree. Don't ever judge a person by their jacket. Respect isn't about how you look. It's how you treat people when nobody's watching. Then he pushed open the door, and the night swallowed their silhouettes as engines roared to life. One by one, the motorcycles thundered away into the darkness. For a long moment, the diner remained still. Then, slowly, almost awkwardly, the other customers began moving. The elderly ladies approached Linda first, their eyes glossy. One slipped a $5 bill into her hand with a whispered, "I'm sorry, dear." Others followed, apologies, quiet nods, offers of help. But Linda could barely respond. She was already halfway out the door, clutching the mountain of food like a miracle and rushing to her car. Minutes later, she burst into her tiny apartment, breathless. "Emily," she called, dropping the bags on the table. Her little girl ran out in pajamas, eyes widening as she saw feast after feast spread out like Christmas morning. "Mom, is this all for us?" Linda knelt, holding her daughter close. "No," she whispered, smiling through tears. "This is love." And tonight, it came on motorcycles.